Hey everybody! Today's video is going to be my experience being a part-time stylist versus a full-time stylist, which I am now. I'm going to go over a few things that I've experienced on my own personal terms and kind of let you guys know what you may experience as well. This is not something that every salon goes by, but I'm just going to be sharing my experience in what I went through as a part-time stylist and what I am going through as a full-time stylist. I have been in 3 salons in the 5 years that I have been doing hair, and the first salon I was there for 6 months and it ended up closing. It was in a very small town and it's actually considered a village, and not very many people knew about the salon. So as you can only imagine, if not that many people know about it and there's not much traffic going in and out, it is hard to run a business as well as for a stylist to make money. When I'm talking about my experience, I'm not really talking about that particular salon just because I was only there for a very small amount of time when I had just gotten my license. The salon that I am talking about part-time is my salon that I was in for about 3.5 years following that. I have been in the current salon working full-time now for about 7 months, so I think I have a good idea on what it is that I can kind of talk about. So the format for this video, I'm going to be sort of talking about part-time, and then I'm going to be talking about the full-time and kind of going in categories back and forth that way. I don't want to only talk about part-time and then only talk about full-time because I think that can be kind of confusing, so I'm going to be kind of going across the board. So to start off, full-time, I am working 40 or more hours every week, and I'm working 5 days a week. I work Tuesday through Saturday, and when I was part-time, I was only working about 20 to 30 hours just depending on when I was going in. I was working Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, and then the other days I just had off. So that is my experience personally as full-time. I am there 5 days a week just like most people are at a regular job, but my hours are not quite set. And then part-time, I was only working the 3 days a week, and it was not very common for me to go in on my day off unless I could make up the money that I was going to have to put into rent. And since I did bring up rent, I might as well bring up the fact that now being full-time, I do not pay by the day, I pay by the week. So whether I work 3 days, take the whole week off, or I'm working the full 5, I am paying the same amount every single week, which I actually do like. And it did make me nervous at first just because I was not used to paying a bulk amount no matter how many days I worked, but that also gives me a good reason to go into work because I am paying the same amount no matter the days that I am working, and it makes it easier to be there. When I was working part-time, I was only paying by the day, and it was the salon owner's policy that if you only worked past, say, 2 o'clock, that you were only paying half rent. So say I went at 10 and I only worked until 2, I was only paying half rent, which at the time I did like, but then when you think about it, it doesn't give you a very good motivation to be working, and I was already not very happy at that particular salon. It is harder to get clients in the door and in your chair when your schedule is sort of all over the place, but because it was a little bit slower toward the end, I was pulling a lot of half days, so I was missing out on a lot of clients, but then I would sit there and clients were not coming in. It was not very motivating doing it that way, paying by the day. And then if I had to, say, work on a Friday or a Saturday, say a wedding came in, I was paying rent the same as I was the other days, like full day of rent, but I was only there for maybe 4 hours, which did not make sense to me at all. And then I only started taking a certain amount of people, and then I was only paying half rent, and that was something that I was not aware of as well. I just assumed because I was coming in on a day off that I was having to pay full rent, so that is something I also did not care about, but that is also my experience. But like I said before, this is my experience that I am sharing and reasons why I did not quite like the part-time salon. Another thing I need to bring up, and it kind of does go with the rent and part-time, is that if a client wanted in on a Friday, I would have to find at least 3 or 4 more clients to make it worth me paying rent and coming in an extra day. And a lot of the times what I found was I would say, okay, I'm coming in on Friday, I have 3 or 4 clients, it'll make up the difference, and then people would cancel or not show. And to me it was like, why am I even coming in and paying more rent? It made no sense in my mind, so I really disliked that. At least when I am working full-time, I'm there no matter what. I'm paying the same. It really doesn't matter, so it doesn't bother me as much. Another thing that I do like working as a full-time stylist is that all of us are full-time in the salon, so Tuesday through Saturday, all 4 stylists are the same. So you really get to know each other, you get to learn from each other, and you get to really have a good experience. When I was working part-time, every day was different. Everybody had set days that they worked. but every day somebody worked a different schedule, if that makes sense. So say on Monday I was typically the only stylist there. It was very rare for another stylist to come in on a Monday. My area where I work, Mondays are usually a stylist day off, but since I did not work the weekend, I did come in on Monday. So I was typically the only one on Monday. On Tuesday there was only one other girl, so it was only the two of us. And then Thursday there was three of us. So there was me and then two other stylists, and it was very uncommon for that to change. So you were not with the same people every time that you worked, and to me that is kind of hard. You still can build relationships, but I really do like the atmosphere of having the same people every day that I am working. So that is something else to keep in mind, that if you are only working part-time, you are more than likely not going to be working with the same group of people. Sort of going back to the hours and having to pay a certain amount of rent, full-time, since you are paying the same amount, I think it's almost easier to take a day off because you are working more and you can get more people in. If you work, say, an extra hour or two, or you come in earlier, you can fit more people in, and then it's easier to take a day off if you have to or if you want to. When I was working part-time, I always felt really guilty because I was only working 3 days. So I either had to come in on a day off, or I just had to miss out on a day's worth of clients. You can kind of work a little bit more, but because it is in such a condensed amount of time, it is almost harder to put in that many more hours within those 2 or 3 days. And another thing that was maybe only at the salon I was at is there was another girl that was building her clientele. So on her days, if I came in and say a walk-in or somebody called for nobody in particular, she still got first dibs on it, so it was almost pointless for me just to go and sit. So again, I had to fill in that whole day in order to really make it worth coming in and paying rent. So that is something that I do like, is no matter what, I can sort of squeeze all my clients in, and then it's easier to take a day off as opposed to guessing what my income will be for that particular day. And if I were to take a vacation as a full-time stylist, I more than likely would not be taking a Monday through Sunday off. I would probably be working, say, Tuesday and Wednesday, and then taking the weekend off, since I do get Mondays off. And my boyfriend works in construction, so it is easier for him as well to do it that way because we are both self-employed. So it's easier to just work a few days and sort of squeeze everybody in and then just get the weekends off, as opposed to before it was a little bit harder to do that because I only had so many vacation days. So if I wanted to take a Thursday off, I did have to work an extra day during the week, and that kind of goes back to an unpredictable schedule. So that is something I also like, is I can take more days off and not feel as guilty because I am paying the same amount, and I can sort of just work longer days. And it's easier to work longer days because I am working full-time and getting more people in my chair and in my door. My clientele is for sure building a lot better in the 7 months as it was in the 3.5 years at the other salon, which is something that is what you need as a stylist. If you are ever in the situation where you are unhappy with the amount of clients coming in the door, you have to really evaluate why that is. If it's something on your skill level, or if it's just your hours that you're working, you're having trouble fitting people in. Say you're not working a Friday and a lot of your clients, that is the day that they can come in, or you're not working a Saturday and it's easier for clients to come in on Saturday. You have to really consider if you are in the right place, or if you can switch your hours around to fit your clients' needs, because the clients are the ones that you need to come in the door to pay your rent, pay for product, and have a good living as a stylist. And the last thing for me was working more hours. I could add more services in, and I am now spray tanning and I am doing makeup because I am working more Saturdays for weddings and prom, etc. So I got to add more services, whereas only working 3 days, it would have been really hard for me to add more services because I was not working on certain days to do those services, and it would have been harder to fit people in. So now that I am working full-time, I got to add on different services, and it's easier to do that. So that's another thing you can sort of take into consideration when choosing a full-time or part-time, is the services that you can add on, because you are working more hours, you can fit more people in, and it will be easier to work in your schedule. So say you want to start doing facials, but you're only working part-time, but you primarily are doing hair. It's really hard to fit people in when you're trying to fit all of your hair clients in to add on a service. So also keep that in mind. If you are working more hours, you can do more things that you are wanting to do. So those are the things that I have experienced as a full-time stylist versus a part-time stylist. These are my experiences. Like I said, this is not something that you maybe have experienced. And if you have experienced the same things as me or something completely different, go ahead and leave those in the comment section and let me know, as well as the people reading reading the comments. Go ahead and interact a little bit better, and I really do appreciate when you guys do leave comments on my videos and we get to have a chat. So go ahead and do that. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I hope you stick around and subscribe. If you have any requests, questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and ask that down below as well. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.